Recording in progress.
Hello, thank you for joining us. My name is Amber Moore. I am your host of Real Boys Talking. Today we're doing Shootin HTe Shit, and as you all know, Shootin HTe Shit consists of myself hosting, and I have my brothers with me from Omega Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So today we have something really special that we're doing. We are in Washington, D.C. We have been here since Thursday, and we leave tomorrow. This is of the end of the month of March, beginning of April. And why are we here? We are here because HRC invited us. We have big things that have happened to this particular organization. As a fraternity, we are a first in many, many aspects. One of the things in 2023 we're the first LGBT fraternity to be a partner of HRC. We got announced this weekend. With big power becomes big responsibility, and please believe Sigma Omega Phi is all up for the challenge and for the role. So today we're going to talk to you and let you know what we've learned that will hopefully help you to go to your city and go, hey, where's my steering committee for HR and how do I get involved? And if not, how do you can contact SOP or Sigma Omega Phi Fraternity Incorporated on our website. What is that? Sigma Omega Phi 2008.org, and we will help you to get you located to a HR steering committee or HRC steering committee. So today I have my brothers. I have Rapid Fire, I have Maximilian, I have Dignified, and I have our Neo in the house. Cool Rush, Generosity. I always have to make sure I say it right because I always call her Cool Rush, and she has more than just Cool Rush as her name. So we're all going to be talking to you and letting you know exactly where we come from and what we've learned this weekend. So when we first got here, guys, what was the temperature? How'd you feel about being here?
It was an adrenaline rush, to be honest. I think we were all quite excited to come to Washington, D.C. for this event. And the adrenaline was just amazing, and the energy that you felt when you walked in. So yeah, that was the first thing I felt when I walked in the building.
I felt, very welcoming community, just being around like-minded people, and just genuine, friendly, welcoming from the word go. It's just been a great experience, and the information is beyond belief that we're receiving right now.
For me, it was like nervousness, because trying to figure out, are you really including me? Let's really see what y'all doing, because I haven't seen it personally. So for me, it was like, okay, let's really see it. Now that I'm here, I'm like, all right, I like what I'm seeing. I'm feeling it. From the president, Kelly Robinson, her energy, Nick, I'm not sure what her last name is, but Harris, yes, Nick Harris, her energy is great. I met some great people so far, so yeah, I'm excited that nervousness is gone, and now I'm excited to go back and implement what I learned.
How about yourself?
Same here. When I first I was nervous coming in. Y'all knew I was nervous, but I was nervous coming in. But since being here, it's like it's awesome. Meeting a lot of people, doing a lot of networking, and learning a lot of stuff, and just really seeing what the HRC is really doing, and it's like we can see what they're doing and what they're trying to do, and we're here to help with the next steps.
Now, a lot of you guys, there were a lot of workshops that we all had opportunities to go to. I believe yesterday we actually had more steering committee workshops, which was really about what does it take to build your city steering committee, and what does that look like. And please understand that if you don't know anything about HRC, the more famous thing that HRC is known for are their dinners. And that is where they're able to introduce people to what HRC is and celebrate those that have been in the trenches doing the work and giving them awards. But that is not all that HRC does. Now, as we all sat in a large group to learn about steering committees, what was there one thing or a few things that you said you could take back to your city?
For me, it was engaging with the people that, if you're at your table at whatever event, learning to engage with folks, keep the conversation going, listening to them, and asking the right questions because you're being engaged with what they're saying. A lot of the time, some people feel like they're not being heard. You know, they just, yeah, and you try to move to the next person, or hand out the next flyer to the next person. They're saying that's not necessarily welcoming if you're trying to bring somebody in. So take that extra time to really connect with people, because that's what it's about.
I had 2 great points at my table yesterday, and one was this young lady was talking about the idea of Friendsgiving, because yes, we hear about it where our LGBT plus youth are misplaced, kicked out, and all of that, but we don't even think about those where they don't have a family, because they may have come out, like you may be on your own, but I've come out, but they don't have holidays, what you have with the families, and then now all of a sudden that's ripped away. So they were talking about a Friendsgiving. I don't know what that would look like, but I know in my head it would be something that I would think would be well received. The other thing was the open mic. There was a couple, May, and I can't remember her partner's wife. They were in one of the sessions yesterday. They have an open mic space. So her and the young lady were talking about there's not an outlet for artistic, because I'm used to, okay, Atlanta, this, that, and the other, but then I totally forget about people in Aurora, say in my case, down Calera, in these small towns, and so they were talking about that, and I think it would be great to do an outlet where people would be able to share, even if it's just sharing a poem about how you're feeling that day, as long as it would give some sort of outlet instead of them holding it in. So I thought there were 2 things. It's like, yes, there's monetary stuff that's involved, but sometimes just being able to be a sounding board and of refuge is what is, I didn't even think about that aspect about it before.
Anybody else? So I think we got a lot. I mean, like I said, we learned about the steering committees, which is very important for individual cities. What it does do is it allows us to take what information we get here and be a part of those steering committees. As many of you might not know, or many do not know, going forward, Sigma Omega Phi will be a very high instrument on making sure that there are cities that possibly do not have steering committees, or did have and no longer have them, bringing them back. So that is something that we're dedicated to doing, and we've got a couple of bros that are in cities where there are not steering committees for HRC, and we're going to help them, and HRC has even dedicated the time to say, we're going to help you get those up and running. So please be on the lookout for those. We will be announcing those as we go throughout the year. As I mentioned, if many of you missed my speech about my org and celebrating our 15 years on January 15th of this year, I pretty much let you all know. If you thought we pissed you off the first 15, you ain't seen shit yet, and we ain't finished with 2023. So this is just the beginning of this. So please know, HRC and Sigma Omega Phi are going to be very vocal in a lot of areas. And with HRC, the avenues that we have to be a part of, one of them is about legislation and is about the laws. And so we split up today, and we went to what we call, one of the workshops was called Gender Affirming Care 101. For me, it pissed me off to no end, because it is not my business to tell a parent or parents how to raise their child and what their child needs or doesn't need. That is not my place. And I feel like the government putting laws into place because you don't understand it, and you want to tell Martha and John what they can and cannot do with their child is a no. So there are major bans in cities or in states where children who are transgender cannot get care. That is dangerous. Any comments? Do y'all want to put any 2 cents on that as well? Those of us who were in that particular workshop.
For me, it was alarming that the consequences that they face I forget what state that was, but you could actually get your kids taken away from you. They will file a case as under child abuse, and they could take that kid that's transgender and any other children that's in that household with you and take them from you, because you're helping your child live in their true self.
That's traumatizing.
Right. That's like what is it, communism or something?
Yeah.
Like you can't really, you gonna it's very harsh penalties out there, and it's even down to arresting and charging the doctors that are doing these helping these people.
In threat of losing their license.
Yes.
Right. So it's like, how dare you think that you could just come in here or come in these people's private lives and just rip them away from their families, threaten somebody's career just because of something you don't understand or you don't like, or you feel like social media is the car. Like, it's totally ridiculous. And then they're trying to put this rhetoric out here saying that all of this is new and experimental. This has been, I just learned that, been researched, and it is approved by the Doctor Association or whatever it is. So y'all telling these doctors they don't know what they're talking about, in the sense of. So yeah, that was so alarming to me today. So I'm glad I went. Like, I didn't know it was as intense and as absurd as it is. Like, wow, okay.
I mean, the laws are there, and it's unfortunate that we cannot. I mean, yes, we were told that yesterday there was a pause on a ban in a state. It's a pause, but that's one. Yes, let's take our wins where we can, but let's look at that. Like Georgia, what are we doing? I look at it like this: if my child says to me, "This is how I am, this is how I feel," I need to support that. Whether I understand it or not, it's called get my research. It's called talk to people. It's called put my child's trauma of not being able to be himself or herself is greater than me finding, me accepting that they want to be transgender or gay or any of those things. So in that particular workshop, it did bring a lot of knowledge to us, and we've had this conversation. Max and I have had the conversation about the laws. The last podcast that we did, episode of Shootin the Shit, that's what we actually, and Diggy was in that one too. We actually talked about the laws that are out there that are for, that are book bans. We talked about the transgender law banning of the drag queens reading to the children. First of all, what is wrong with drag queens, reading to children? What is wrong with a child saying, I just would prefer to be called Johnny instead of Jeanette? What does that do to me as an individual? Absolutely nothing. It possibly, if I am an open-minded person, it will allow me to be able to be honored to meet someone that is so authentic within themselves that it could pull something out of me to make me go, I've always wanted to wear chaps with the butt out. Now I'm gonna do it. You never know. I know that's simple and trivial, but it's that kind of level of understanding. So again, as I mentioned, a lot of my brothers went to another workshop, which was about state laws and state legislation. Please share with us everything that you all got from that.
It's amazing that the legislation has only been in session for 3 months, and there are already over 400 anti-LGBT laws. Already, right?
More than 460.
Yeah, like, so it's ridiculous, and again, it's the fear that is being led in these bills and these laws, and how they write these laws and the terminology they use to get the buy-in for these particular laws are very harmful to people, right? So when you use terms like grooming, predator, things like that, it makes people say, yeah, I need to vote on this bill because it's going to protect my children. Oh, okay, but let me ask a question. Statistically, how many drag queens have been arrested for touching little boys and little girls? let's just say in the last 6 months.
Let's just say
in the last 6 months. But I guarantee you I could pull statistics on how many Christian leaders have been arrested or convicted of child pornography or child abuse or something dealing with harming a child in a sexual manner for real.
Yes.
So let's be clear. We're not the problem. We not the issue. Because when I go to the bathroom, that's what I intend to do is use the bathroom. I'm not going in to look at no little girl or no little boy because they can't do anything for me. I'm expensive. And a 9-year-old cannot buy the J's that are on my feet. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, we have to pay attention to the terminology that is being used in these laws. Like, our lives are being threatened. Our lives are in danger.
Impersonator.
Yeah, when you use terms like male impersonator, that could be us in that category. Even though we do not portray to be men, we are not men. We are very comfortable in our womanhood. We know that we are women, but we dress in men clothing because that's what we like and that's what makes us comfortable and who we are authentically, right?
Yeah.
But I could be seen as a male impersonator and I could be arrested and charged with a Class A felony.
Yeah. So
Like that's real. That's real.
We're gonna be walking around like Nazi Germany with pink triangles on.
I mean,
You have that,
listen.
but see, here's what
You
they're
know,
doing.
so-
They'll go back to, you got to remember your Stonewall. Before that riot happened,
Yeah.
It happened.
the
a lot.
law was you had to have 3 items on your
Oh, yeah.
person that represented your actual orientation, or not orientation,
Your gender.
Your gender
At birth.
at birth.
So if I was to dress like this, I would have to have 3 articles of something that deals with a female, a regular classified
Right.
female, like the stereotypical female.
Yeah.
So I could wear this, right, and have on stockings.
Exactly.
I could have on this and wear panties and not boxers.
Right.
I have to wear a bra because these titties ain't gonna sag. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's how it was back in the day. And if I did not have those 3, then I was in trouble.
Shit.
You were questioned, and that's where it's sad, but then we're going back to that. But why? Because you're uncomfortable. Don't walk in my area. It's like being on social media. You don't like what I post, fucking unfriend me. You don't like what I post, keep it fucking scrolling. You don't have to comment that you don't. I found that was a low. I don't give 2 fucks. I didn't post it for you.
That part.
And that's how I feel about this. This is not your big. What are the 3 F's? Finance, feed, and fuck.
Yeah.
If you are not,
Yeah.
if you're not feeding me, fucking me, or financing me, what role do you play in my
And
household?
anything that you tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the good thing about the Human Rights Campaign, I know people have heard us say HRC a lot. That's what HRC means, people. Human Rights Campaign, okay? So when it comes to the Human Rights Campaign, it's not, and the good thing is that it's not just LGBTQIA issues. It's human issues, like women's rights to affordable health care and abortions and prenatal care and things like that. It comes with the people of color, the indigenous people, the Asian community. All of these different aspects come along with HRC, and that's the good thing about it. It's not just one category. It's we are really fighting for the human race, for us to be equal as humans. That's the good thing about it.
And I think that's where most of your people want this world to be. And we learned that this is not just a U.S. issue. This is a world issue. All of these phobias, or what I consider them to be, is nosy ass people, but they put their phobias on us, or their fears of what they don't even know. Mm-hmm. They don't understand, and that's sad, because you don't want to be educated. You want to assume stuff. This is a world issue. One of the other workshops that we went to was about tokenism. And we all have experienced it. As black people, we experience it all the time because it is a comfort area where white America is not comfortable with black people, but they know, oh, I need to have a black person on my board, or I need to have a black person on this, or I need to have a black person in this. And if you're not and the bottom line was, what is your intentions? If you do not have a black person to put on your steering committee for HRC, what do you do? And that was some of the things they talked about. It doesn't mean that you need to go recruit just a black person to put there. It means for you to go into the spaces where black people are, sit, hear, listen, and then let them keep going, and let them understand that they can trust that you are wanting to know what their needs are. Then you will see them come to you and say, hey, when do you do something? I want to come to what you do. So I think that was what I got from that as well. Those of you who were at that particular one, what did you all get?
That it could be offensive. Like you might think that you're like you think you're helping, like, well, hey, since you're here, you should do this. That's offense. That could be if you're not asking if that's something that person wants to do, is just handing it to them, like, well, since you're this, you're going to do this, and that could be perceived as that person could be offended by that, like, just because I'm black, I gotta go recruit all the blacks now, like, is that what we're about? Like, so yeah, I did learn, like, I mean, sometimes I don't think people intentionally do it, but that is something to think about now. Like, okay, how am I making this person feel?
Am I, it'll pass because they didn't intentionally understand?
That's and that's what I'm saying. Like, that was informative for me because, like, I may have done something maybe in my past or whatever. So now it would put in my head, like, okay, moving forward, let's make sure that, because even sometimes I question, like, am I the token black girl for my company? Like, I'm like, they don't ask me to do nothing, but okay, I mean, it made me think about that, like, well, as long as I'm getting my paycheck every 2 weeks, and they don't come at me with nothing crazy, I guess I'm in a good spot, so, but, yeah, it just kind of changed my thought process and kind of opened my eyes to some stuff, like, okay, I can see how that is, and, I see it in the movies and, jokes and stuff like that, but now it's like, okay, be more cognizant of what's, going on around you, and especially when it's time to steer with the steering committee and stuff like that, not to offend anyone off bat, like, making a bad first impression, so.
And to be aware of, and they did give us some elements that if you are going to put something together, it does make sense. I need to see if it's transportational accessible, handicap accessible. If I'm putting something together, I need to be mindful of, I am a meat person. So when I do events, I'm trying to eat. Mm-hmm. So vegan and vegetarian, I apologize up front. There's a strong possibility I have forgotten about you. But right. I also have a team of people, when I do like the LGBT Greek weekend, I've got a team of people who keep me on point. Because a lot of them are vegan or vegetarians, and so they remind me because they're like, you are a meat eater, and everybody don't want to eat, meat. Oh, okay. And so we do have those kind of conversations. So I think that that's also a way of tokenism, and that was brought to our attention. Do you all have anything else y'all want to add that you have experienced through this weekend? We're by the way, we're not finished. When you all are going to be hearing this, we will have finished our weekend. But we are on Saturday. We have our tomorrow. The Atlanta group, the Atlanta Steering Committee we are going to a brunch, and then we will all be flying back to our respectful homes. So while you all are hearing this after the fact, we still have some more to do today. There are some more amazing people speaking this evening, and we are going to be a part of that. So before we go any further, because I know we're gonna do some more as well, reflecting on this. But so far, I want y'all to give me where y'all are right now in terms of how y'all feel today. The news that we got last night, how we've been treated since we've been here. Where are y'all in this? Where are y'all in this space?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm still soaking everything in. Like, it still seems so surreal.
Yeah.
like just the genuine kindness and niceness of people. Like even from all the way to the top, to the president.
To the top.
Man.
Like just the
Man.
energy and the love that we've received, like it's 100% unmatched. But I'm still me personally. I'm still soaking everything in, and it still seems very surreal. And I'm 100% motivated to like hit the ground running.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I second that. It's Yeah, I'm very motivated. It's a lot of work, but I do appreciate the fact that they are looking to partner with us because we are needed and so much more is needed. And they're recognizing areas that may have been missed. So in other words, we want to cover everyone that's going to fall under these bills that they're trying to pass and all of this. But we need people to help us in these areas so we can cover everyone. So yes, when you mentioned about covering women of masculine of center, dealing with lesbian organizations, things like that directly, this is what we're trying to do, but we can't get everything. So I'm still soaking it in. I'm honored to be here. The people that they have working for them and that are bringing people in I think are phenomenal. President down to Nick Harris. Fantastic. Just Mike, the Atlanta group.
Because the Atlanta group actually toasted us last night.
Yes.
So that was a major thing for us as well. Is that they recognized our importance in their steering committee and the work that we're going to do in Atlanta. And they poured champagne for us. So we got flowers before even having to really do the work because of who we are.
Yes, what's up? Better recognize.
So anybody else?
I'm appreciating the authenticity of the folks here. Like Nick was saying, being vulnerable, to help people connect, and so like even. And I'm not gonna lie, and I don't know if I'm the only one in here, but I thought everybody here was gay. I found out today we have a straight woman that's married to a black man from North Carolina or one of the Carolinas. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, damn, I didn't think about that. I'm like, well, how many other allies do we have here? I just really.
I'm learning.
I didn't know that. I didn't ever think about it either until you started talking. And
I was like, whoa.
Not only
I assumed everybody was a lesbian, bisexual, something on our little alphabet. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's allies here. And even the lady that they honored last night from. What was she?
Alabama, I thought.
I think so.
It was the steering committee from.
She's an ally. Right.
Yeah,
so,
right.
But even with her being honored, I didn't equate like they're in the steering committees and the staff, and I'm like, oh, okay, wow. So
and
that kind of.
They have brothers, they have family members that, and let's be real. A lot of times your allies come because they have a family member who was ostracized, misplaced, displaced, and or committed suicide. Yeah. And they go, if I had known, if I just been able, and let me save somebody else then.
But I also think that the misconception for HRC is that they are majority LGBT. I think that's the misconception because you have to remember, it is human rights campaign, not LGBT, not black, not white, not Asian. It's human rights. So you can't be in this space and not be an ally for LGBT. Whether you straight, like you can't be in this space and not recognize that Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
You can't be in this space and not recognize that our transgender brothers and sisters are getting murdered at an alarming rate. You can't be in this space if you don't understand that our Asian brothers and sisters are being attacked over fetishes. So I think that's the misconception that a lot of people have, is that HRC, because they do a lot for the LGBT,
Yes.
But that's because we are literally one of the communities that is constantly
Mostly
being
attacked.
attacked
Yes.
every single minute of every single day.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, that does not take away from the injustices that us people of color have ever experienced, right?
Yes.
And those are things that HRC addressed too. But it is not to the level of how we get attacked on a regular basis, for real. And it's getting to the point now to where we have to watch our backs as an LGBT community, because there are people who want to harm us.
Right.
There are churches that are saying we should kill them, like it's on video, like it's on video. Like these are Christians.
Like you stand in a pulpit. And
these
you
are
felt
Christians.
That was what you needed to say.
These are people who claim to be Christians, and this is this Christian mythology thing that they got that is leading our government to ban abortions, to ban marriages of same sex, or even interracial marriages. Let's be clear, because that's up on the table
it's
too,
back
people.
on the books too.
That's up on the table too. So,
and a black man married to a white woman voted in favor of. That's where you get into. We had a conversation about people not reading the bill.
Yes, exactly.
Because they put so much crap underneath it. But I'll find his name. And I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he is an interracial marriage, and he's a GOP member. And he.
Well, you already got Clarence Thomas, who is very much going to be he's very much about supporting it.
Yes.
But you are married to a white woman.
A Trump supporter.
But you don't think that you're going to be affected by it. And that's the thing that I think, and going to the human of this, black people, you got to realize that the Republican Party, yes, back in the day, many moons ago, they were in favor and supportive of black people getting, being in the right places, doing the right thing, being able to have their freedom and their right to vote and all of that. That ain't what you playing with no more.
We switched the party switched after the
They've
Civil War.
But you got to understand why they switched, and you got to understand where they are today.
Yes, you got to understand the history behind it. You have to do your
Exactly.
research and understand the history as to why the party switched up.
That also goes
Why
to
Republicans went Democrat and Democrats went Republicans. Like it's an amazing story. So if you have an opportunity to research that, you will understand why we are in the situation we are in today.
Yep, and that's also
That's a
about
whole
going
conversation that I would love that, because
we could have a whole podcast just on that.
And
we
we
could have a
probably will
whole
as we
podcast on that.
because there's an understanding.
Because we had black representation.
Oh,
But
extremely.
then the Republicans, the Democrats said, "Look, this is what we're gonna do for you, but we need to get the black people out here. And you can do this, this, and this." And that's what
the switch made.
That's
But you got to understand, we need to be those people that are conscious to be able to say, vote your best interest. As a gay woman, as a black woman, as a woman, all of that, you got to look at, don't go against your interests. And unlike white women, they do it all the time, and that's what screws us up as well. Let's just be real. You stand in front of me and you say, yes, I support your right, Amber, to be a gay woman and wear men's clothing and be whoever you want to be. And then when you get in that booth and it's time to vote, you don't vote for me. You don't even vote for your own child's safety. You vote for what that white man who's your husband told you to vote. Let's just put all of it. Let's just be real.
Let's be real.
I'm gonna be real about it too. Being younger, I was like, oh, that's a black candidate. Boom, check mark. But shoot, we got Republican black. You know what I'm saying? And I just really learned that. Like, wow, you really have to do your research on these candidates. Do not just they this or they Democratic or they just really look and do some research. It's like we said on the bills.
They're not reading it. Even people voting for these things, they're not going to read it.
As much as Dr. Phil ain't. I watch a lot of Dr. Phil, and I don't agree with a lot of stuff that he does. One of the statements that he makes is, if you want to know how someone's going to act tomorrow, you got to look at how they acted yesterday or last week or last year or when they were in college. if you was a perv in college, 9 times 10 you still a perv, and
You
you gonna
just
continue to
dressing
be
it
a
up,
perv.
yeah.
Because then it becomes so second nature, you don't see anything wrong with it.
Exactly, because you ain't never had nobody slap your hand. Nobody's punished you. You've gotten away with it.
Nobody punch your lights out.
Anybody got anything else they want to add to your experience of this weekend?
I've just had a great time. I'm still in awe.
I
I'm
am
very
too.
humbled
It hasn't-
and
it
grateful.
is, yeah.
I am
Yeah.
too. We came here to say thank you
Because
to
this ain't no
HRC.
play.
Yeah, we came here to say thank you to HRC for allowing us to be national, partners, and they ended up saying thank you to us.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing. That also,
Yeah.
I need my fraternity to understand that we've come, we've arrived, baby, and it's time. And now we've worked so hard. We've worked 15 years to get here. Now we here. We can't do nothing but show out and show up every single time. So we're gonna end our podcast at this time because again, we still have much more to learn, and they are willing to teach it to us today. We are going out here. We're going to meet some senators, hear what they got to say. As a matter of fact, we are going to be in front. We are going to be listening to our press secretary.
Yes.
Who is a gay female. Amazingly, she looks amazing. She's a great woman. She's going to be talking to us today, and I believe there's someone else, a justice or another senator.
I don't know.
maybe.
We're gonna figure it out.
But
I
we will
know.
let you all know
Tell
as
me.
we get into these groups and listen to these people talk to us and let us and inspire us to make sure that our community is better for the future. I love you all. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back. And again, you are listening to Real Boys Talk. I'm your host, Amber Moore, and this is Shootin the Shit with my brothers of Sigma Omega Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And we say, so long. We'll see you in a little while.